Hello and welcome everyone to Immigration Talk Show. I'm your host Sam and you're watching Daily Immigration News, where we bring you the latest updates on US immigration policies collected from authentic news sources. And now, let's get into the headlines. First up, Costa Rica to help US repatriate Indian migrants in new agreement. ICE Philadelphia sends Salvadoran man wanted for homicide and terrorism back to El Salvador. Sikh immigrants face tensions as deportations and turban removal spark controversy. Tom Homan and AOC clash over webinar helping immigrants avoid ICE raids. Canada urges universities to diversify international student recruitment. Canada also tightens immigration rules. More power for officials to cancel visas and work permits. Racism behind Trump's deportation push, say immigrant workers facing fear and uncertainty. Trump's immigration crackdown targets law-abiding immigrants at check-ins and court hearings. Schools nationwide struggle with anxiety over Trump's immigration policies. Trump and Musk radical cuts to federal agencies could undermine U.S. immigration system, experts warn. So these were some of the headlines, and now let's get into the details. First up, Costa Rica to help U.S. repatriate Indian migrants in new agreement. Costa Rica has agreed to work with the United States to help send back illegal immigrants from the US, including people from India and Central Asia. The first group of 200 migrants will arrive in Costa Rica on February 19, 2025 at the Juan Santa Maria International Airport. These migrants will stay in Costa Rica temporarily before being sent back to their home countries. Costa Rica is helping the US in this process by acting as a bridge to assist with their return journey. The US and Costa Rica reached this agreement as part of their effort to manage immigration issues. The migrants will be cared for at a special facility in Costa Rica while they wait for repatriation. The International Organization for Migration, a global organization that helps with migration issues, will also make sure the migrants have everything they need during their stay in Costa Rica. The US government is funding this entire process. Well, this decision comes shortly after Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the US, where he discussed important topics like immigration with US President Donald Trump. In recent months, the US has increased efforts to deport illegal immigrants, and three groups totaling 332 Indians have already been sent back to India. Costa Rica's role in this process will help make the repatriation smoother for migrants from India and Central Asia. ICE Philadelphia sends Salvadoran man wanted for homicide and terrorism back to El Salvador. ICE in Philadelphia has deported Jonathan Stanley Garcia Vasquez, a citizen of El Salvador, on February 14, 2025. Garcia was wanted in El Salvador for serious crimes including aggravated homicide and being part of a terrorist group. He was first arrested by a U.S. Border Patrol in June 2016 near Hidalgo, Texas, for entering the U.S. illegally. On the same day, Garcia was given a notice of expedited removal, but later, in 2017, he was released on an immigration bond. In August 2018, law enforcement in El Salvador issued an arrest warrant for Garcia because of his involvement in homicide and terrorist activities. A U.S. immigration judge ordered Garcia to be deported back to El Salvador in October 2018. But he was not immediately removed. In December 2024, ICE arrested Garcia in New Jersey during a routine operation and moved him to a processing center in Pennsylvania. Garcia stayed in ICE custody from the time of his arrest until his deportation. On February 14, 2025, ICE Philadelphia successfully sent him back to El Salvador, where he will face charges for his crimes. This operation highlights ICE's efforts to remove dangerous criminals from the US and return them to their home countries. Sikh immigrants face tensions as deportations and turban removal spark controversy. Sikh communities are facing growing concerns over deportation practices and treatment by U.S. authorities. One case in particular has drawn attention. Jatinder Singh, a 23-year-old from Amritsar, was among the 112 deported Indian immigrants who returned to India on U.S. One case in particular has drawn attention. Jatinder Singh, a 23-year-old from Amritsar, was among the 112 deported Indian immigrants who returned to India on a U.S. military flight. He described being detained in a US camp for 2 weeks where he was forced to remove his turban, which was then thrown in the trash. He also said he was shackled for 36 hours during the flight back to India. Singh had paid a large sum to an agent to smuggle him into the US, believing he could find a better life. But his journey through the jungles of Panama and the US border ended in detention, where he faced harsh conditions and mistreatment. He now says he regrets trying to enter the US illegally. In addition, US immigration policies have caused anxiety for many in Sikh communities, particularly green card holders and naturalized citizens, who fear they could face deportation for past minor legal issues. This has also affected attendance at Sikh temples, which serve as vital centers for social, religious, and health support. The Sikh coalition is concerned that some people are skipping essential services due to fear of raids. The Shiromani Gurudwara Prabandhak Committee has also called for action after reports of Sikh deportees being denied their turbans. The community is speaking out, urging accountability and better treatment of immigrants and those seeking asylum. Tom Homan and AOC clash over webinar helping immigrants avoid ICE raids. ICE Director Tom Homan and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are in a heated debate over a webinar hosted by AOC's office to help immigrants avoid ICE raids. Homan criticized the event, claiming it might hinder ICE efforts to target violent illegal immigrants. He even reached out to the Deputy Attorney General to question if AOC's actions were violating federal law. AOC responded on social media, mocking Homan and defending the webinar as a way to inform immigrants about their rights, joking that he might need to read the Constitution. The disagreement highlights the ongoing debate over immigration enforcement and the role of law enforcement in deportations. Canada urges universities to diversify international student recruitment. Canada's Immigration Minister Mark Miller is urging universities to look beyond India for international students and focus on attracting talent from diverse regions. He emphasized quality over quantity and encouraged schools to improve recruitment strategies. While acknowledging India's importance, Miller stressed the need for a more balanced student body. On immigration, Miller clarified that Canada won't adopt the US approach to illegal immigration. He warned that international students without legal status, including those with expiring work permits, must leave unless they transition to permanent residency or another visa. Canada is tightening immigration rules, granting border officers more authority to revoke temporary resident documents like study and work permits. Starting January 31, 2025, immigration officers can cancel electronic travel authorization and also temporary resident visas if individuals provide false information, have criminal records, or experience significant personal changes. Previously, officers had limited power to cancel existing permits. The new rules allow quicker action if a permit holder no longer meets the eligibility requirements, boosting the integrity of Canada's immigration system. While these changes target misuse of study permits, especially in fraudulent cases, and focus on ensuring compliance with visa conditions, Canada's goal is to secure its borders and prevent unauthorized stays while continuing to support genuine travelers and workers. Racism behind Trump's deportation push, say immigrant workers facing fear and uncertainty. In President Trump's second term, new immigration policies are causing fear for many immigrant workers in the US, especially in industries like construction. These workers worry about being arrested or deported. Trump's administration has made it easier to arrest and deport undocumented workers, even if they have no criminal records. Immigrants who have been living and working in the US for years say they face constant fear of being taken away from their families. Many workers in places like Texas and Maryland share how hard it is to get legal documents, despite working hard to support their families. They feel the changes are unfair and rooted in racism. Immigrant workers play a big role in the US economy, but now they fear losing their jobs, their homes, and even being sent back to their home countries. These new rules and these new policies have made life even more uncertain for them. Trump's immigration crackdown targets law-abiding immigrants at check-ins and court hearings. Under the Trump administration, ICE has been arresting immigrants who show up for routine check-ins or court appearances. Many law-abiding immigrants, including those attending immigration appointments, are now being detained and deported. With daily arrest quotas of 1,200 to 1,500, officers are targeting individuals with little or no criminal records. Some immigrants have even been tricked into ICE custody, like a Miami teacher with DACA protections. This has sparked fear among families and concerns over ICE operation in courthouses and discouraging people from attending hearings, risking their chances for legal status. Well, this crackdown is creating widespread fear and uncertainty in immigrant communities, potentially disrupting the immigration process. Schools nationwide struggle with anxiety over Trump's immigration policies. Trump's immigration policies are causing fear in schools across the US. In Fresno, rumors about ICE raids at school led to panic, while in Denver, a real raid caused many students to stay home. In Texas, a school official falsely warned that Border Patrol might board buses. Many immigrant families are scared that ICE could detain their children at school. One mother in Colorado stopped sending her kids to school due to fear of family separation. While ICE hasn't entered school, the fear remains. Some states are trying to pass laws to make it harder for undocumented children to attend school. But many districts are offering support and information to families during this uncertain time. Trump and Musk's radical cuts to federal agencies could undermine US immigration system, experts warn. President Donald Trump and Elon Musk are advocating for major cuts to federal agencies, which could significantly impact the US immigration system. These cuts would target agencies like USCIS and ICE, responsible for processing visas, green cards, and asylum applications. Experts warn that reducing resources could lead to delays and mismanagement, and that will affect millions of immigrants. The removal of oversight officials from key immigration agencies raises concerns about the system's integrity. Without proper oversight, the risk of fraud and mismanagement increases. They say this is especially troubling as the US immigration system is already under strain, with growing backlogs in visa applications and deportation cases. Critics argue that these cuts could hinder efforts to streamline legal immigration and address issues like family reunification, asylum claims, and labor shortages. So these were some of the news updates. Hope you liked watching this video till the end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Immigration Talk Show. Thanks for watching. See you next time.